Today is August the 31st, 1998, and we're interviewing Louise Lawrence in the Historical Society's video room on Stone Street. Louise, what is your given name?
Emily Louise Grooms Lawrence.
I like the name Emily, but I've always known you as Louise. Where were you born?
Out on East New York Avenue, about 2 miles out of town, in a little white house where my family lived.
And who was your doctor? Who delivered you?
I don't know.
Or did you have a midwife?
I believe it may have been Dr. Davis, but Mrs. C.G. Ross was in attendance, and she put my first clothes on, and my mother named me after her. Emily was after her, and she was a lifelong friend.
Well, is she still alive?
No, she died several years ago, but a lot of her family is still here.
And how old are you, Louise?
I was 72. I was 72 in February. Soon be 73.
February what?
18th.
18th. Well, you're a young 72.
Yeah. Thank you.
And what were your parents' full names?
John David and Alma Louise Grooms.
And what did they do? What kind of work?
My dad worked for many, many years for the utilities company, Phoenix Utility, many, many years ago, and then went in with Florida Power. And after he quit with that, he worked with Johnson Electric Company. He and Mr. Johnson on that, and then he worked strictly citrus. And my mother was a housewife.
She never worked out at all?
No, goodness, raising 7 children, she didn't have time to work out.
It's a nice big family, and that was what I was wondering. How many brothers, sisters? You said 7? And what were their names?
Well, I have two brothers, Gerald and Lester, and then I had 4 sisters. Margaret lived in Savannah, and she's deceased. Dorothy lives in Colorado. Helen lives in Glenwood, and Rebecca lives here.
Just a nice family. Where did you live while growing up? What was your address?
Jackson Avenue. It was later 208 Jackson Avenue, but the mailmen always just knew it was just Jackson Avenue because we were the only ones that lived there.
And that's off of New York Avenue?
Right.
East New York?
Between New York and Voice.
And how long have you lived in DeLand? I know you were born here. Did you live here all these years, or did you move away and come back, or what?
The longest I've ever been away from DeLand was 5 weeks. And I was so homesick I could hardly stand it.
Well, you're definitely a DeLandite then. Can you remember something about growing up as a little girl? Now, this must have been in the you were born in 26, so from 26 to the 30s. Can you remember something about growing up during that time?
Like what? Like what we did?
Yes, or just something that, some memories of, that sort of go along with the historical part of DeLand. Do you?
Well, let me think. Saturday was going to town time. Everybody, you've heard the expression, country goes to town. Well, we did. Right. Everybody went to town on Saturday afternoon, and if they did a little bit of shopping and a lot of visiting with other people that came into town. And
I feel like you had to go downtown. Parents didn't have to go downtown and buy toys and things. You just sort of
we did the best we could with what we had to do with.
And enjoyed it. That's
sure.
And really enjoyed
Sure, we had a good time.
What about some of the little jobs you did? I know all the children used to have little jobs around the house. What did you have to do?
Let me think. I didn't do any cooking because my sister didn't think I could do that. She was older than I was, and she could cook better than me. And she didn't like the way I cleaned the house, so I didn't do much of that. I did a lot of outside stuff. I like to work outside.
Like you were mentioning about the wood. Did you cook? Did your mother cook and heat the house with wood?
Right. Yes, we had a fireplace and a wood-burning stove. The stove for cooking, and of course, most you know how a fireplace is.
Oh, and I love a fireplace, and now people enjoy them so much again. And at the time, you didn't realize how nice it was to have a fireplace.
Well, no, you really didn't.
You just didn't know how to appreciate sometimes. Did your mother ever make homemade soap?
Oh, yes.
Well, how'd she make
Oh,
it?
that was
Or did you help her?
No, we just watched, but we hated it. And now you pay a good price to get some just for a souvenir. But we hated it because you couldn't suds it. You couldn't make suds out of it, and it was fat and lye and I don't know what else, but it was made in a big wash pot, and it was an all-day affair.
Kind of strong for the hands.
Oh yeah, strong for everything. It just take a hole out of your clothes real quick, like. But
well, did your mom ever boil clothes?
Every wash day, that was one of our chores. The boys had to get the water up because we had a pump. We didn't have running water. We were at the end of the, we were out of town and we didn't have running water. So the boys had to pump water so Mom would have water to do the laundry on Monday. And sure, she used a wash pot and boil those clothes. And
what about scrubbing board?
Had a scrubbing board too. But we finally got real. We made it and had a washing machine, and that was great.
Oh, that's good. Do you remember the make of the washing machine?
Maytag, probably.
I think that was one of the first.
I think that was one of the first ones.
That was my mother's first. Was a Maytag also. Well, did your mother make clothes? I know you're a good seamstress. I know because you've done lots of pretty things for me. And did she sew also, or?
As I said, she had 5 daughters, and yes, she had to sew. And I was talking to my sister the other day and asked her, did the start of school make her remember anything in particular about going to school? And my mother always went down to Penny's and got chambray material, solid and striped, make us a 4-gauge skirt and a striped shirt blouse. And we could interchange and we'd swap, and we had lots of outfits because we could swap around.
In other words, it sounds like parents worked hard.
Oh, yes.
Even though a lot of the mothers back in that time did not work out, they worked hard because they had to sew and cook and do a lot of things. Do you remember an old-fashioned Christmas when you were a little girl?
Well, I don't know about an old-fashioned Christmas. I thought it was like what everybody else had. We always had Christmas, and we always had something. We had our dolls and toys, and then we would get books and crayons and pencils and things of that sort. A lot of times we would get things for Christmas that we could use in school. And
practical things and that. Well, what about a Christmas tree? Did you go downtown and buy one?
Oh, heavens no.
What'd you do?
Went out in the woods and cut one. And we would usually back in my childhood, it would be a longleaf pine, but we always had a pretty Christmas tree. Made chains and never had popcorn strings, but we made chains and all kind of homemade stuff to put in.
So all of it was homemade that you put
Most
on the
of
tree?
it was, yes.
And okay, where did you start to school?
Boston Avenue School.
Boston Avenue School, which was a regular school back then. And how did you get to school? Did you walk or ride a bus or what?
We lived just far enough out that we rode the bus, and Mrs. Falkingham was our bus driver.
I remember her.
And she stopped down on New York Avenue because there'd be a whole congregation of kids that got on the bus, and we had to meet in one place in particular, so it was down at the end of the street.
Well, did she wear uniforms? I remember she drove our bus at one time, and she wore uniforms, a little cap, like an officer's cap, and a gray skirt and a white blouse. But this was a little bit later, just a few years later, so...
No, she never did.
Not during your time at Boston Avenue. Well, can you tell something about when you were going there at that school? Do you know any memories there? Or?
Well, I happen to have a picture of the teachers, all of my teachers that were at Boston Avenue. That I've found that one day and had a print made, and it's just really neat. And Luella Janney was my first grade teacher. Sarah Johnson was my second. Louise Zellner my third. Irene Campbell my fourth. Fern Bauman my fifth. And Ruth Ford was my 6th grade teacher, and Myrtle Richardson was the principal.
Oh, you got a good memory. Did you remember any little friends that you had that still live around the land? Any that?
Ruth Wilson and I, well, she's Ruth Linder now. She and I started 1st grade together.
And you're still friends?
We're still friends. We went all the way through school together.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, what about junior high? Where was junior high located, and something about it?
It was down on Clara Avenue. It was a big school. We came from a little school, and it was just sort of awesome when we went to the big school.
Now, was that before they built the brick school, or was that the brick junior high?
That was the brick junior high, which is the administration building now.
Okay, I didn't know whether that was before.
It was after the one on. Let's see, it was on Rich Avenue, and the high school was on Clara and Rich. I think WPA built that. I'm not sure, but I believe it was built during the war.
Do you remember any special memories of junior high? Maybe the teachers or friends or something that happened during that time, or?
No, not really, because we couldn't stay for like after school activities and things because, well, number one, we lived too far out. We had to ride the bus or walk home, and that, like I say, that was a long way to walk. And then we also had chores to do when we got home. We always had a cow and chickens, and we all had to take care of those. And
the brothers and sisters all helped.
Right,
and, and then it was senior high time. Tell me something about being in senior high.
Well, most of the same kids were we from junior high right on through. Most of us were the same ones that went both places, and it was just going from one building to the next. I do remember though there was a big a wooden building on the Clara Avenue side that used to be the gym, and they used it for the band hall for a long time, but of course it was torn down later.
Who was the band director?
John Heaney.
What year did you graduate?
1944.
And do you remember how many was in that class?
I think there was 76.
Oh my, such a difference now.
Yeah.
How did the students dress back then? What did they usually wear when you were in high school? Was it saddle Oxfords or?
Well, the girls wore saddle Oxfords and socks, usually pleated or gored skirts, and either sweaters or shirt blouses. Pants were just girls just didn't wear those then. They always wore dresses or skirts.
And certainly no shorts.
No. The only time they wore shorts was for basketball or sports. And the boys wore usually they didn't wear jeans. Very few of them wore jeans then. In fact, back then, the boys that wore jeans and high top shoes were usually what was called country boys. But now that's the thing to wear.
Right, it's certainly changed. What were some of the hairstyles for the girls? How did they wear their hair? Short or long, or what was it like?
Well, it just sort of depends. Some of them were, not very many of them, but some of them had it bobbed off like a boy's hair, but a lot of them, most of them wore their hair shoulder length or even longer. A lot of them wore their hair long. And,
were there many perms back then?
Not a lot. Of course, if you got a permanent, it lasted all year long. You didn't, it wasn't one that you had to have redone every month, but it lasted a long time.
Well, did the girls ever wear their hair rolled up in curlers and tied up in a bandana to school?
Oh, if they were going to prom or a party or something that night, they would try to get by with it. But sometimes the teachers would catch them, and they'd have to take it down.
Well, I can remember even in my time that sometimes we'd wear it to school that way, and my daughter thought that was the oddest thing that we wore curlers in our hair and bandanas around it. But like you say, if you saw someone with their hair all curled in curlers, you knew they were going somewhere special.
That's right. That's right. And the teachers weren't quite as strict about that as they are now. I mean, they'd let you get by with it because they knew it was something special.
Right. Did the students have cars back then?
Very few. Very few.
When you say few, could you tell approximate number?
No, there wouldn't be more than a dozen cars because there wasn't any car parking place. And of course, as the years went along, more people got cars. But any cars you saw on campus, you knew they belonged mostly to the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
And there wasn't any. It wasn't necessary to have parking spaces.
Right.
You know.
Didn't need them.
No.
Can you remember any of the problems in school? Now, like now, it's drugs and things like that they have to watch out for. What was the main problem back then? Do you remember any problems at all, even?
Not really, just mischievous things. And I can't even think of any things of mischief that were that was really a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we really had it pretty good.
Children were.
They
knew to behave, didn't they?
They were well behaved, and if they did misbehave, they knew that they were going to catch it. You know, if they got it at school, they were going to get it at home too.
Right. Parents kept a very close check with school and home.
Right.
Right.
Parents cooperated with the teachers.
Can you think of some differences of growing up as a teenager now and years ago?
Oh goodness, yes.
What, for instance?
There's so much more freedom now than there was then. Like I say, my family couldn't participate in outside activities because we had chores to do at home, and we lived a good ways from the schools, and so we had to ride the bus, or if we missed the bus, we walked home. And nowadays, kids have their own cars, and they don't ask their parents if they can do something. They tell them they're going to do something, and they're so involved in so many things. I don't know how they have time to study, you know, for their classes.
And one of the disadvantages of having cars, sometimes parents can't keep up with them where they really are. You
Right.
know? They just have a little bit too much freedom. I agree with you on that. What about clubs in the school? Do you remember any of the clubs that school connected?
They had them, but like I say, I wasn't involved in them, so I don't know. I don't know that much.
There was
about
other
it.
responsibility that came
Right,
first.
right.
Right.
What I had, schoolwork and what I had to do at home came first.
Exactly. Did you play any musical instrument?
I was in the band for 2 years, I think it was, and I played at playing the flute.
Uh-huh.
I never did perfect it. I just.
But even 2 years is good. You know,
Yeah.
it's good training. Uh-huh. What was a popular song back high school days? Can you remember a couple of the songs that were popular, or?
Mares and oats and does and oats.
Right, right, right.
That was one. Well, during high school, it was getting toward. We were beginning to get into the Second World War, so I can't think of any.
A lot of probably connected with that. You know about.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. What about dances? Do you remember anything about the dances at school, or you probably didn't get a chance to attend those as much because?
No, because my parents were very strict, and that was something that we didn't do. We didn't participate in those.
What about chaperoning? Did you think that the young people were chaperoned better
Oh, sure.
at that time than they are now?
Sure. The chaperones were there to chaperone. They weren't there to participate in what was going on. They were there to chaperone the kids, and they took that responsibility seriously.
And to guide and direct them in
Right.
the right way. Do you remember possibly how late the girls could stay out at that time, or what was the curfew?
Oh, 10 o'clock probably.
Mm-hmm. What were some of your hobbies?
I read a lot. I still do, and that was just one of my favorite pastimes was reading. And
What type books did you like to read?
oh, at that time I liked to read true story magazines.
Right.
The kind that you weren't supposed to
Oh
read.
yeah. Well, what's your favorite color?
Red.
Red.
Or blue.
That's. Well, who is someone that you've admired that has lived in DeLand. Now, not family, but somebody that you've admired, thinking that, I don't mean admired like a boyfriend, but admired as a person of what they can accomplish and things like that. Can you think of someone that...
A person that I really thought was just fantastic was Myrtle Richardson. She was, the principal, and she was such a fair person, and she's just really great. Mm-hmm. And she was the principal all through my school. And when my children went to Boston Avenue, she was the principal there part of that time. Mm-hmm. And I was so glad that they got to know her a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Now that was Jim Ed Summerhill's wife's sister, am I correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And also her husband, Mrs. Richardson's husband, was a policeman at one time. Mm-hmm. In DeLand.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Can you tell about DeLand in the 40s? Like, what was downtown like?
Well, I started to say dead, but not really. It was a center of activity, especially on Saturdays. Now during the week and Sundays, it was very quiet, but on Saturdays it was a busy place, because as I say, everybody came to town on Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening, and my four sisters and I, during our high school periods, worked at McCrory's 5 and 10, mm-hmm. and it was really great.
Do you remember approximately what salary you received back then? It's a lot different than now, I know.
About $9 a week.
And what did you do? Work at the counters, and or what did you?
Well,
do?
we would be assigned a counter that it was our counter to work, and mm-hmm. we had to keep it straight, and we had to keep it stocked, and keep things straight, and we worked the cash registers, and then I got promoted, and I got to work in the office.
Oh, how nice!
So that was fun.
Well, what about the streets downtown back then?
The main streets were New York Avenue and the Boulevard, mm-hmm. and those were the only two that I can remember were concrete or brick. Mm-hmm. They were brick at that time, and I know out on North Boulevard, it was a double lane with huge oak trees down the middle, mm-hmm. and which was always very pretty from Plymouth Avenue on out further. And New York Avenue had oak trees on each side, and it just made a canopy over the top, which was always just so very pretty.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember any streets that were not paved?
I don't think any of them were paved except New York and the Boulevard. Uh-huh. The rest of them were all dirt or clay, mm-hmm. or shell.
Mm-hmm. A lot of difference now, isn't there?
Oh yeah.
What about some of the buildings downtown, or the stores, or the merchants? Can you tell anything about that?
Well, let's see. Next door to McCrory's was what was known as Stith Griffith. I think it started out as a funeral home, but then it was a furniture store, and the Allen Summerhill funeral home was just behind McCrory's, and Penny's was across the street, and there were any number of grocery stores, the old Piggly Wiggly, and it was not Winn-Dixie, it was Winn and Lovett's at that time, mm-hmm. and there was one named Margaret Ann's, and Stademeyer's was downtown, mm-hmm. and you could get whatever you wanted, you could get in most of these stores.
Did they stay open late at night, or?
No, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock they were closed?
Everything was closed at 6 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
Except on Saturday. Now on Saturday they stayed open till 10.
Uh-huh. Well, what was the country like? We were talking about downtown now. What was the country like? Were people allowed to have animals at their home and all? Now they have
Sure.
such strict rules.
I mean, you could have animals all downtown almost if you live close into town. You could have a cow or chickens living right downtown, and of course we lived 2 miles out, and we always had chickens and cow. always dogs and cats, but it was very rural from less than a mile out from town. It started in getting, people had big yards and all kind of animals.
Well, did most everybody have a cow back then for their milk, or just
No, not really.
not everybody?
Sixsmith's Dairy and Green's Dairy delivered milk. Those two that I remember delivered milk right to the door.
Mm-hmm. And I can remember even we used to put the money right out the night before.
Oh yeah.
And we it was never taken, or never bothered.
No, you just drop it in the milk bottle and they'd pick it up the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And we had an ice box that we put the sign up in the window and of how many pounds of ice we needed, and when the iceman came by, he would bring in that much.
Uh-huh.
And
certainly different than from now. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Did y'all have time to visit back then, or was it a lot of work and not time to visit, or did you take time to visit?
There was a lot of work, but there was also a lot of visiting.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday especially Sunday afternoon was a lot of visiting done. But even during the week, and people helped each other out so much. Mm-hmm. Now, my mother helped take care of any number of women when they were having their babies, that she would be there to help take care of them.
People helped one another,
Right.
didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't hire people out as much as just somebody was always willing to help.
Right.
Uh-huh. Did you have close neighbors back then, or was it kind of?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Had close neighbors.
Uh-huh. I was writing an article. I was just writing down some things the other day as who our neighbors were,
Uh-huh.
and I was just checking to see who all I could remember that lived around my house.
Can you name a couple of people?
Oh yeah. Mr. and Mrs. Madsen lived down the street. The Rosses lived over on the corner. And of course, they had a big family too. And the Normans lived down there. The Michaels lived across the street. Mrs. Odom lived down the street from us. The Robinsons lived next door. And down on further toward town, Mrs. Ostom had her store. That's where my dad got all of the gas, for the car, and that's where we usually would go get our bread during the week.
Well, all those names are bringing back memories because they're people that lived here for many, many years.
Uh-huh.
Well, what about the gas rationing and things like that? Do you remember?
It didn't affect us very much, and I tell you why. My dad worked for the power company, and he had to have, working for the power company, he had to have gas, and he had to have a telephone, and he had to have a car. So we were always very fortunate in that we, even though we were scared to death to answer the telephone.
So you didn't get to just talk with friends.
No,
it was business.
If the phone rang, you knew it was business.
Uh-huh.
But we were fortunate in that we had that, and so the gas rationing didn't affect us very much because I don't know whether he wasn't exempt from that, but he got more tickets than
right.
Ordinary.
People had enough gas for certain jobs.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Do you remember Pearl Harbor Day?
Not really. No, I don't.
It's just sort of can't remember particularly. Tell something about the young men going to war. Do you remember that? Local fellows, local young boys, maybe from your school or maybe.
Oh yeah, there's lots of them.
Friends?
A lot of them quit school and went into the service because that was the thing to do. And in fact, I have a brother that did. And but I don't know very many of them.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know many of them that well back then.
Mm-hmm. Did you know any of them that were killed in action that come to land?
Oh yeah.
Who do you remember?
Carol Draggers in our class.
From DeLynn Springs.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the first ones. Bobby Tatum.
Right.
Those two I can remember.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you graduated in '44 from high school, and what were some of the jobs you did after you got out of school?
Well, I was still working at McCrory's at that time, but I put in an application at the First State Bank, and I started work over there, I think in July after I graduated in June.
So you were about 18 years old. You were young.
Yeah, and I worked there about three years.
Do you remember who the president was at that time and the vice president? Was it Mr. Sefton? Mr. Allen?
Mr. Allen was the president of the bank, and Ralph Sefton was a vice president.
Right. About how many employees did they have at the bank? Do you recall?
Oh, about 10.
Just very small.
Yeah, it was real small.
Well, what church do you attend?
First Baptist Church now.
On the boulevard, the one on the boulevard. And where were you baptized?
In Lake Molly. When I went to Stetson Baptist Church, I joined the church at Stetson Baptist and was baptized in Lake Molly.
I know years ago you didn't have the provisions to be baptized in the church like they do now.
Oh, it was really a big thing on Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock to go down, meet down at the lake for baptism.
Okay, just about after this, you were out of school. The Naval Air Station was out at the airport now, and I think you met somebody special there.
Oh yeah, met a lot of special people. But that was there before I graduated from high school.
Oh, it was there before?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
It was there before I graduated from high school. And met a lot of people there, a lot of real, very nice people. And we weren't afraid of the people that we met out there, because they were such nice people from all over. And not only there, but the Naval Air Station in Sanford, and the R&R at College Arms, and there were a lot of them over in Daytona, and we weren't afraid of those people. And I know if we were traveling any place and saw any of them out hitchhiking, you didn't think anything about stopping and picking them up, because you knew that they were away from home, but you wouldn't do it now.
No, you certainly wouldn't. Times have really changed.
They certainly have. They certainly have.
Do you know anything about the Naval Air Station? Were you out there and of how it looked or anything about that? Or
the only time I never was in the grounds of the station, but one special young man, not the one I married, but another special young man was at the gate. He was on guard duty at the gate. And we'd go out there lots of times on Sunday afternoon and just visit with him, because we knew that he was away from home and lonesome, and we'd just go out there and visit with him. Just a real nice young man.
Well, now you met Don, your husband.
Right.
And how did you meet him?
It was really kind of funny, and people don't believe it sometimes, but I was working at McCrory's on the lingerie counter. And he came in with a young man that I was seeing, and we were formally introduced, and about a year later we started going together, and went together 3 months and got married.
Nice. And when did you marry? What date did you marry?
March the 20th in 1945.
1945. And where did you get married?
At home.
At your parents' home?
At my parents' home.
And who was the preacher? Was it Reverend Snowden? Or?
Yes. Yes.
I was there. I remember.
I stopped and think.
Oh. And what was your dress like?
It was a little white eyelet suit. And just very simple.
Short?
Yeah, short. And I had a pink carnation corsage. I had 3 carnations. And I'm trying to think of the lady's name that fixed it. That she worked at Allen's Drugstore on Indiana and the Boulevard.
Was this the florist, or she just...
She just worked there, and they sold flowers, and she was real good at putting flowers together. And she made my corsage for me, and I can't think of her name.
Well, what did Don wear for the wedding?
His white uniform.
And who were your attendants?
Gordon Schoaf and Ruth Gill.
And you had a reception at?
Yeah, but Margie Stanfield played the piano.
Oh, uh-huh.
And
which was my sister.
Yeah.
And you had the reception and all right there?
Yeah, but I don't remember much about it.
Uh-huh.
Just a lot of people did.
Uh-huh. And then you had some children. How many children did you have?
I have 3.
And what's their names?
Larry is 49, and he just got married at July 18th. And Linda lives in DeLand, and she's married and has my two grandchildren.
And she married the Daugherty?
David Daugherty.
David Daugherty from DeLand, uh-huh.
And Rachel lives in Baton Rouge. She's a paralegal in Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm. And what about grandchildren?
Have the 2.
And what's their names?
Sam and Diana Daugherty.
And I know you're proud of them.
Oh, yeah.
And after you were married, how long did Don stay in service? I forgot to ask you
3
that.
years, I think it was. He was in the service 3 years altogether. But I think he was in there about another year after we married.
Was he stationed at DeLand all that time?
Yes.
Uh-huh, well, that was good.
He had a CEO that liked him, and every time he'd put him, he would get on sea duty, the CEO would take him off.
And then you had another job that you had besides working at the bank. I think you retired from.
Yeah, worked school food service for 27 years, I think it was.
Uh-huh.
But a long time.
And you were the manager?
Yeah.
And about how many students did you serve each day?
Oh, 500 or 600, but there's a lot more than that now.
Uh-huh.
But when I finished, when I retired, we were feeding about between 500 and 600.
Quite a lot. 2
meals a day.
Now also, you got into the citrus business.
Yes, inherited it, sort of. I inherited part of it and bought the rest of it.
From your parents, you
Yes.
mean? Uh-huh. And do you still have some of the citrus trees now and all?
I have 14 acres of trees, but none of what my father had planted, because they froze when we were having those freezes in 83.
Mm-hmm. So you had to replant all of those?
It's completely replanted. We replanted all of them.
Do you ever remember a freeze before that in your lifetime?
Yes, but not a deadly one like that.
Not to wipe out everything.
I've seen the trees completely defoliated, but they came back.
Now also, you and Don had a dream about building your dream home, and you accomplished it. Tell about it.
Well, Don was an orphan, and
where was he from?
He was from Michigan, and he had a brother and 2 sisters, but both of his parents died when he was real young, and he came down here in the Navy. But he always wanted to build his own house, and so after we bought the grove from my brothers and sisters, we started making plans, and so we built our house, our dream house, out there. It's only 3 rooms, a great room, 2 bedrooms, and breezeway, and
but large.
Full basement. It's plenty big enough, and it's just a nice little country house. And
it's a setting in the orange grove.
It's setting out there under the pine trees.
And it's located near
the complex.
The Sperling.
Right.
Ball
Their north line is our south line.
So through the, like a bird flies, you're not very far from the Naval Air Station where it used to be.
Right.
And after you finished it, I think you had a big celebration there. What was it?
Well, it was before we finished. It was finished enough. Boy, we worked hard to get the floor finished so we could have it, but we celebrated our 50th anniversary there.
That was wonderful. It was a beautiful occasion and lots of people there. And the both of you did the work.
Yeah. With the help of 2 real good friends, and then that helped us a lot, and then other people that helped us along and along.
So how many years were you married before Don passed away?
52.
And what year did he pass away?
1997.
97, Well, what advice or what do you contribute to your long married life? Because 50 years and more is not seen that much now in some way, some places.
Well, I'm seeing more and more of them that have seen their pictures that are celebrating their 50th. But we just worked together, and it was we just did things together and decided things together, and it was just being not being together, but being together in our thoughts and our wants and what we wanted, and bringing our children up and discipline, and that we worked together on this. And it wasn't that he did his thing and I did my thing. We did things together.
Well, I always admired you both, the way you could work together and also had time to play and enjoy each other. Thinking of your nice family, your rewards were great. I'm Betty Van Allen, and thank you for sharing your memories.